Hi, welcome to Mind Sutra. Today I'm very happy to have Shinil Kilwani as my guest. The visionary and leader at the House of Artisans, Shinil is passionate about both art and the stories of people who have created it. She is closely involved in the product creation process, design and communication to ensure that every story of her work and the artisan reaches the customer. She ensures that great work is at the core of the House of Artisans and that everyone thrives to make each day their masterpiece. Her persona adds character to the team of her company, the House of Artisans. One conversation with her and you'll know what she's about: warmth, passion, and tremendous impact. She has also spoken at the TEDx Forum. Let's welcome Shinil to understand how her journey from an MBA graduate to creating her own business empire that not only is profitable but is impacting rural artisans in a big way is all about. Hi,
Hi,
Shinil.
Mansi.
Yeah, welcome to my show and thank you so much for coming here. I would love to know your story. How did House of Artisans happen? And before that, did you always knew that your path is different or following an unconventional route was something you already had in mind? Can you elaborate your story around it?
Okay, thank you so much. It's lovely being here. So my story has been way before the House of Artisans, really. It started with me actually wanting to venture into business in general, and that's something that I always wanted to do. Something that has been very, very clear for me right from the beginning is that I can't work for somebody else.
Okay.
And I think that was really the trigger. I always knew that I wanted to do something different. I always knew I was the weird one. I always knew that my preferences, what I want to do with life, what I want from life, is very different from the time probably I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
But I think one thing that has stuck to me from the time I was a child was this dream that I had, which is basically a dream when I'm sleeping, not when I'm awake, like it's a real dream, which is I'm standing in a dark room with red spotlight on me, and I'm giving a thank you speech. And I'm saying thank you to all the people who helped me get here and the ones who didn't. It's because of both of you that I am here today.
Wow. Okay, that's very insightful. All right.
And so this is a dream. I think I first got it when I was about 7 years old. And the funny part was I did not know enough English back then to be able to talk like this, I think.
Okay.
But the dream was so clear, and then I've been having that dream ever since. It became less frequent as I grew up, probably because my mind was more cluttered. But then it's a dream that just never went, and this is literally the only dream I get. Otherwise, I don't remember my dreams or probably don't get them. So I think that one feeling of, addressing and giving that thank you speech. And I know that the day it'll happen, I'll know it in my stomach that, you know, uh, this is what it was supposed to be. And I think that has something that has driven me to do what I want to do. Again, not knowing the how, but definitely knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I think that is something that has always stuck through. And then, different things kept coming up, and I kept taking those opportunities. And the House of Artisans finally happened. And yeah, that's the rest is history, really.
Wow, and that's very interesting, having the childhood dream, the one that actually you had while sleeping and following that path is so brave. And can you tell me more about House of Artisans? What is it about?
So, the House of Artisans is a brand where we work with local artisans around India to produce things that are unique, sustainable, and 100% handmade.
Okay.
So what we do is a lot of these artisans around the country have great work that they can do, but over time it has started becoming irrelevant to the kind of things that people are looking out for.
All
Which
right.
is why factory made things, which is why things that are designed by a designer in a swanky office has become more appealing to the audience today, which is fair as well because trends keep changing and things happen.
Right.
But because of which a lot of artists are losing work.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. So, we have artisans from Jhandial Guru in very close to Amritsar, and they work with a lot of brass, right? Um, Nowadays, brass is in trend, and a lot of people are buying brass products, but the artisans are actually going out of work, even though they work with brass, if they don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
So what we really do is we help them with making their products more contemporary, making their products more relevant to today's audience, and then connecting kind of people who like these things directly to the artists.
Okay.
So that's primarily who we are and what we do.
So I really love the fact that your vision for your business is helping these artisans. That itself is a very thoughtful thing that you are doing with your business, and that's amazing. Very interesting to hear. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, so I'm sure when you started with this concept of House of Artisans, there must be some self-doubt whether you'll be able to make it, or there must be some kind of fear of failure. Did you have any kind of such thing? And if yes, then how did you work around it?
So I think fear of failure is something I've had. Like I said, I've experienced that from like early in my childhood. Like I said, because I was always different, I always wanted different things from life. Not, looking out for, even as a child, looking out for marks to, kind of define me or, have 20 friends to say, hey, I'm social and things like that. So I think that self-doubt and fear is something that I started facing from a very young age.
Okay.
And eventually, I think I learned to overcome that because who I am has always been very central to what I do, right? So, like I said, the dream that I had,
Right.
the kind of visions that I had for my life, and I've had that from the time I was really young. So, I've always felt like there's something that's always guiding me, and hence that or my sense of self has always preceded any of those things that have happened around. It has been difficult, but I've just been able to, look at things in perspective. So there have been times where I'm like, okay, bit into this. Are you sure this is definitely going to happen?
Right.
So I had all those self-doubts. I had all those, that fear of failure, but somehow it just never stopped me from doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
I think that is something, it's actually not a very, difficult or, it's a fairly straightforward story for me from that point of view because uh, whenever I take a decision, it's always from the core of who I am. And I said, will I be proud of doing what I'm doing? Even if this didn't work out, even if this failed, would I enjoy doing what I'm doing every single day? Would my work make a difference to even one person that I speak to or, I interact with? And if my answer is yes, then I just go ahead and respect it.
That's a very good insight for all our listeners who are struggling with the decision to follow their heart or not, because many times the fear of failure is about not reaching the destination, but many forget that it's the process actually that what matters more than the destination, which obviously is important, but I think the real enjoyment is in the process. I think even that in your case as well, that has keep you centered around it.
For sure. So process has always been more important. And as far as, I mean, in the real sense, the definition of failure or success is concerned, I mean, there is equal chance of failure or success in whatever you do,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But I think if you're enjoying the process, and it's making you happy every single day, then I think that destination just matters so much less.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And your TEDx talk was something around celebrating yourself. And your
Yes.
tagline of House of Artisans is celebrating imperfections. So, can you talk
Yes.
more about it? Why these two things are so close to your heart?
I think from the beginning, like I said, when you asked me about fear of failure, when you asked me about self-doubt, those are not some of the things that really, kind of affected me or really kind of changed my decision. And then over time, I realized that it's this need to be perfect, which kind of actually makes us feel fearful or scared of what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Our need to look like, how most people look like. Our
right.
need to talk the way others want us to talk. And I think what bothers us the most is not how we look at ourselves. In fact, not even how others look at us, but how we think others look at us.
Yeah, that's a very
Right?
relevant point. Yeah.
And I think the moment you say that, hey, I'm okay with myself, and I'm not just okay with the good parts of me, but also okay with the not so good parts of me in the most conventional sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying, not good about me, but I'm okay with it, where you're just barely accepting it. But actually to go ahead, take step ahead and celebrate exactly that part of you which is not perfect, right? Because that's really what defines you. And, just something that has stood out. And, just before actually I did this TED talk, I actually spoke to around 30 of my friends, well, friends and acquaintances who knew me from school, from college, from my workplace. And one thing that everybody said was that, you just won't comply to things. You just won't comply to what people said. And that
Mm-hmm.
is something that has stuck around from the time I was a child, right?
Okay.
The one way of looking at it is, hey, it's not perfect. Why is this person so, obnoxious or so zippy or so, just not listening to others?
Mm-hmm.
But another way to say it, hey, this person just listens to her gut or her intuition and does what she wants no matter what. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
and there's a world of difference in the way I look at myself in these two situations,
Yes, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's also one of the reasons why I knew that I would be phenomenal at doing business as opposed to can't get comply, can't get myself to listen, can't get myself to, obey the rules. I have issues,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And one way I can say is, hey, I have issues, I have problems, my head is finished. What do I do? And everybody I meet, I just keep talking about how I can't comply and how I'm not the best person. But also, if I completely twist that around and start celebrating myself and be like, this is what it is,
Yeah.
it takes your life personally and professionally to a whole different level. And I think that has really been something that has made a difference for me. And then with every person who is associated to THOA, who has been a part of the House of Artisans, who works with us, whether it's, our artisans, whether it's our employees, every single person knows that they can be exactly who they are, completely with their imperfections, because,
Right.
we kind of celebrate that.
That's a very insightful and inspiring story indeed. because my work revolves around dealing with limiting beliefs of the clients, and majority of them have this limiting belief that they are not good enough. The strive to be perfect, especially imposed on us by media, especially media. The strive to
Right.
look perfect, to be perfect, and this thing has so much deep rooted in everybody's subconscious that their limiting belief majorly is that they are not good enough. So
Right.
did you always were very clear that you are happy being yourself, or did you have that initial thing to transform that limiting belief, or that pressure to be perfect? How was your story? As in, did you always strive to be yourself from the beginning, or it was a realization early in childhood that no, I don't want to comply to people and I will be myself? So was it a realization that happened, or it was something you're part of nature since the beginning?
So I think it's a mix of both. I was born into a family which is um, where perfection as a concept is very important.
Okay.
Where there is an ideal picture of what a daughter would be, or what a son would be, or what a mother would be, or what a wife would be, and there are definitions that are very, very strongly set, and not just strongly set, um, conveyed to everybody, right? So that this is what you should be to be
Right.
the ideal person that you wish to be.
Right.
And I have always felt out of place,
Okay.
right? I always felt out of place, and I said, there's something off about this. I just didn't know what at that point of time. Then I went to school, and again, there were some rules and some norms, and I again felt like a misfit, right?
Right.
I felt like there's something off about this. I still couldn't identify what it was.
Right.
Um, and I think as I grew up, I was so used to feeling like a misfit. I was so used to feeling off that it became a part of me. And I said, wait, I'm generally always feeling off, right?
Right.
And I think the more discussions I had with people, the more off I started feeling. And at one point of time, I actually went into a whole self-healing journey where, for 18 months straight, I was doing like 6 hours of yoga and meditation. And, I was just literally spending time with myself for 18 months straight.
Wow.
And I think that was the point where I realized that what is this thing that I've been feeling off about, right? So the one part of it is, as a child, I never, just because I felt off or just because I felt like a misfit, I did not put in extra energy to fit in. So that has been a part of my nature, to like, I'm okay not fitting in.
Right.
But to exactly know what your true nature is and why you're feeling like a misfit. And
Right.
there will be people around the world who would be feeling like this, like you, and finding those people and talking to them and seeing, kind of forming your own tribe.
Right. Right.
And I think that is something that happened after I went through, like a whole self-healing process, which, like I said, it went on for 18 months. But after that, it was life-changing. Because all the things that I'm able to tell you now in terms of articulating it is because of that time that I spent with myself.
Okay. That's such an inspiring story. I'm sure our listeners will definitely benefit from this. If you want to give three advices to our listeners, three key takeaways from your journey of following your heart and trusting your gut and instinct, what will be the three main key takeaways for them if they want to follow their heart, but they are, they are having high self-doubt and fear of failure? So what will you tell them?
I think there's literally just one thing that I want to say, and that would be all 3 points actually, would be just have the courage to take the step. Because self-doubt, fear of failure, being scared, don't know. I mean, it's going to happen to you. It's going to give you goosebumps in your stomach to a point where you'll be like, I screwed it up. This is not the right thing to do. And, your mind will be screaming no, but you just have to be patient with yourself till it starts whispering a yes.
Okay.
And I think you just have to stick through, just stay with that feeling. And which is why I say you need to have that kind of courage, is because just stick through. Like, don't judge whether it's going to happen. Don't judge whether it's going to work out. Don't judge whether what will people say. Don't judge whether what you will say. Don't judge. Like, literally don't judge. Just stick to yourself. Like, just be with yourself till the time you start hearing that yes from inside. Because nobody, literally nobody, like whoever is even most convinced about their life and sure of what they want to do, still have that no screaming inside them.
Right.
So I think that's with all of us. All of us have that feeling. But if you just go through it, just walk till the point you start hearing a yes, even if it's a whisper. I think that is that life-changing point where you start hearing that yes, and then there's no looking back.
That's very beautifully put by you, Shinil. And one last question I have, that you might have faced certain challenges and setbacks in your journey. So how did you keep yourself motivated to go ahead?
I don't think I kept myself motivated. When I was sad, I was sad. When I was depressed, I was depressed.
Okay.
But while all of that was happening, there's just this one fate, like I said, to stick to yourself and just go through this. So when the time is rough and the time is tough, you're just going to be like, hey, let me wait it out till I start feeling better.
Okay.
Or till I get that one thing that will again get the juices flowing. Because there are days when, months where I wake up motivated every single day. And then there are weeks that I don't as well.
Right.
And, you can seek help, you can talk to people around, you can do all of that. Try literally everything that works. You don't know what is that one trigger point that will get you back on track, because it's different for different people.
Right.
But again, be with yourself through thick and thin, like you would be with the person that you love the most. Like, you won't leave them during rough times. You won't, abandon them. You will actually take more time and spend more time and, give more energy to those people.
Right.
To your closest ones. So I think you're the most close to yourself, and hence you can just be with yourself no matter what. I think that is something that will really make difference.
That's so beautifully put by you, Shinil. Thank you so much for sharing your honest story, and I'm sure it will be an inspiration for all our listeners. And thank you for the work you are doing. It's very inspiring, and especially because the difference it is creating in artisans' lives. So that congratulations for that, and I'm sure your vision will scale your business even further. And
Thank you so very much.
yeah, you're welcome. And lastly, if people want to know more about the House of Artisans, where they can find it?
I think if you just Google the House of Artisans, there will be a lot of things that you can read about. You can check out what our artisans are doing on our website, which is www.thoa.store.
Okay.
You can check us out on Instagram as well. And check out all the work that our artisans have been doing, some phenomenal products that they've been creating, and we would really love to hear from each one of you.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you, Shinil, for your time and valuable insights. It means a lot. Thank you so much for connecting, and all the best with your business.
Thank you so much, Mansi. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.